So what is human merely being? Human merely being is the auspice of my creative and teaching practice. So it is the arm under which I produce the interdisciplinary artworks, and it's also the name for teaching Vedic meditation and Alexander technique. And why I love it is because, especially in meditation, we talk a lot about beingness or pure being or awareness and transcendental consciousness. And yet, in the phraseology human merely being, it's not merely as in dismissing, oh, that's just being. I always read it, and I'll also show the context from where it's coming from. It's human merely being. It's emphasizing the simplicity of this is the foundational thing. This is the primary thing. And once that is enlivened and vibrating fully, everything else follows from there, right? And it's why you can know or tell something about someone beyond words, because the verbal is only telling you so much. And yes, it comes from a poem by my poetic father, E. Cummings. And I read it maybe 20 years ago. And that phrase, like human merely being, has always stuck in my head. And I would sort of affectionately use it. And then when I was training to become a meditation teacher and I knew I would need to talk about my teaching practice in a specific way, I just always was drawn to calling it human merely being, because we are humans and we are merely being, but we are also composed of this beautiful essence of human merely beingness. Also, before I was a Vedic meditator, when I was in that phase of struggling with my Buddhist practice and feeling like I wasn't getting anywhere with it, or I didn't have the deep spiritual practice that I so yearned for, this was my mantra before I had a mantra. I would say it every day, and regardless of whatever practice I was or wasn't doing, and I was sitting there and like kind of waiting for a burning bush to speak to me or something, I would say this poem. And I still, many days, I will end my meditation by invoking it into the silence at the end of the practice. I thank you, God, for most this amazing day, for the leaping greenly spirits of trees and a blue true dream of sky, and for everything which is natural, which is infinite, which is yes. I who have died am alive again today, and this is the sun's birthday. This is the birthday of life and of love and of wings and of the gay great happening illimitably earth. How should tasting, touching, hearing, seeing, breathing, any lifted from the no of all nothing, human merely being, doubt unimaginable you? In parentheses. Now the ears of my ears awake, and now the eyes of my eyes are opened. And you can see that this had quite a profound impact on me when I first read it, because I love to make love to my books, but this I really, for such a small amount of text, had a lot to say. And, I felt really seen by this entire book, which is his 6 non-lectures, although this poem comes from a separate collection of poems. But this idea of when he says, which is natural, which is infinite, which is yes. I almost like a mystic savant when I was in college. I would walk around and say ridiculous things. People thought I was on all sorts of stuff. I was not, because I don't process alcohol well. I don't smoke because of my voice. But yet I would say things like, I celebrate the self. And, I say yes to life. And yet, I think I inherently knew what that meant, but I didn't have the sort of more direct intellectualization to define what I meant by that. That came with all the subsequent study. But here he is, which is infinite, which is yes. This is my mantra before I had a mantra. And I hope it gives some context for where this notion of human merely being comes from.